Hi, I'm Kaelyn Kowalski. I'm from Roseville, Michigan, and right now I'm 22 years old, and I'm a member of Team Revolution.
Hi, my name is Amber Rutherford. I am from Saddlebrook, New Jersey. I am 25 years old, and of course, I'm on Team Revolution.
Okay. Are you ready?
So who's gonna go first?
Let me go first, and then you can respond.
Got you.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
What is your favorite food to eat before and after a competition?
Ramen.
Oh, yeah.
I love ramen.
Yeah.
You had it yesterday. Oh. I mean, I had it yesterday.
You had it yesterday. I did not.
Did not.
That should have been a
moment.
Exactly.
You know who you are.
Okay, so what about before? So before a competition, what's your go-to?
Before competition, usually depends on how I feel. If I feel a little sluggish, I usually get like pasta. That way it will help me build up my, I guess, esteem.
Is that the day before or like
day before?
Day of, yeah.
I usually do have like carbs. I like to put up my carbs before I compete. It helps me sleep better too. When I'm full, I'll wake up the next day, I have like a banana. If I go to bed on an empty stomach, I'm going to be like starving the next day.
Exactly.
And we all know how tournament jitters get when you don't want to eat, but you don't eat, you think you're not energized, and then it goes back and forth.
You gotta have something in the morning.
Yeah, so I always have something.
I get really mad when I don't eat in the morning.
I have a banana. I just wake up, give me the banana in a Red Bull.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, like at the beginning, before I compete, it's usually something either super light or just like something solid. So I'm usually like a sausage, egg, cheese, like a breakfast burrito almost, but not so much to where it's like bacon, pork,
like those
pancake,
big meals.
Not like one of the big meals, but for me it's like something light.
Yeah, I see most of the guys have like pancakes or something really big and heavy, and I'm just like,
can't do that.
If I know I'm gonna compete within like the next hour, I feel like I can't digest as much as men could.
And I feel heavy, like moving around, trying to function.
Yeah.
But like usually before you need something light, and then after is when
then
you
I just go in.
Pig out.
I just pig out.
Pig out.
And then the same, I think it's different from when I do fighting. When I go to trad and I do like kumite, I have a little bit more in my stomach. But there has been times where I didn't eat as much, and let's say if I get the wind kicked out of me, and then I remember I didn't eat anything one time. It was like nationals like years ago. I think we clashed, and then I felt like I had to throw up, but it was nothing to throw up. So it was just like annoying.
Just nothing there.
Yeah, and then it also made me really tired. I had a headache afterwards, so now I make sure I have something in me.
You gotta get something.
And then it actually helps me fuel more when I'm like fighting. But for forms and kata weapons, I'm like, I'll just do this for like 3 minutes and I'll go eat something.
Yeah.
I'll suffer for 3 minutes. It's different. When
3 minutes suffer
when you're suffering and sparring, you're like, I'm dying. But for kata, it's like one and done. You know,
you're
hit
good
the food
for
court
the one
after.
time.
Yeah, definitely.
But afterwards, it's ramen time. That's ramen time.
Or pho.
It's pho and ramen time.
Yeah.
Always.
It
Always
puts me
afterwards.
in a coma.
See, that's what helps you sleep afterwards. That's the stuff where you're like, ugh, I got too much adrenaline built up. I can't sleep now. But nope, you eat some ramen, you go to bed.
Yeah, just pass out.
Yep.
Yeah,
wake up for your flight, go home next day.
Yeah, literally. Let's see.
Next one?
Yes, get my next card.
It's your turn.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Okay. What is your most embarrassing tournament moment?
Oh gosh. Oh man. You might have to go first on this one because I have a lot.
Come on.
I have a lot.
Okay. I think you were there for this one. Last year, US Open, I was going up for weapons. I was next. I think Lainey went before me. I had to do I put my hakama on wrong. So I had both legs in one
That's
pant.
right. Yes. I remember this.
If it wasn't for me like stretching, I would have went out there and I would have been like, but I was like, let me stretch to get my hips moving. I was like, wait. And I was up there. I was like, I need help. I didn't know how to take it off.
No, I remember this.
And then you was like, Amber. I was like, I'm sorry.
I think I videoed that actually, where you're stuck in one leg. No, there was another tournament that you did this at too.
I don't know why. Like the hakama pants are really big. It's like a lot roomy. So I just put it on. And then now I'm like, okay, I put it on and I do like a big old X like, I'm like, okay, good.
You have to make sure. Got to double check. My most embarrassing tournament moment. I think the one that I can remember is that me and my mom and my sensei, we were driving to a tournament up in Canada. And we weren't entirely sure of the start times, but apparently we had gotten there late. And they had already started the division. You know, I'm at registration. I just walked in. My mom is registering me. She's writing me down. And they're like, Kaelyn, your division is up, like right now. And I was like, I'm so mad. I'm like livid. I'm like fuming. If you could see like smoke coming out of my head. And I'm talking to people. I'm like, I told you what this start time was. Why didn't you listen to me? I told you the day before. I even said it. It's on the flyer. And my mom is like, just get ready. Just go. Just keep going. And I'm like talking on the way there. I'm getting ready. I'm putting my hakama on for my sword kata. And I'm going and I'm like, you did this. You did this. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. If I lose, this is on you. It's not on me. And I go in and I just like swept the entire tournament. And I was like, I feel foolish. And I was like, I guess this is what happens when I get mad now. So.
It's like under pressure. Under pressure, pressure builds diamonds.
Yeah.
Oh. But what you call it? I think there's one more when I went to Canada. It's not like an in tournament one, but it was kind of funny. It's always to airports. Everyone knows.
More embarrassed at the airport.
Me going to airports to a tournament is like something always happens to Amber. They're like, of course, Amber.
Yeah, you have the worst luck.
The worst luck at the airport. I'm like, God, please, like, just get me to the tournament. Like, my flight's delayed.
You just getting there is like the hardest part.
It's the hardest part. US Open was the hardest part. Like, my flight got canceled while I got to the airport. The next flight available was $1,000. I was not paying. I didn't have to go get a car. The car, they ran out of cars to drive to Florida. My mom was like, I'm not driving to Florida. I was like, but Mom, it's the US Open. And then so I drive to Boston instead to fly to US Open. And then it's still delayed in Boston. Get to US Open on time. The tournament literally starts. Make it for the picture. Cause you guys were like, Amber's not coming. I just pop up. You guys were like, hey, what's up? I made it.
And I'm yelling at you like, you're not supposed to be here.
And I was like, I made it. Like, it's my God free will. But like, I remember one time I went to the airport with my mom and then just checking in my oars. And then I like to call them fishing equipment because it's a lot cheaper.
Hey, no, it's not. It's the hockey sticks. You say hockey sticks.
I say hockey sticks in some places, but I know in Newark, I'll be like, they're fishing equipment. Because it's technically an oar.
It's an oar.
Technically, I'm right.
It's an oar.
So Chelsea went to the beach with it and did the oar on sand, and I'm jealous because why didn't I think of that first, you know? It's literally made for the beach. But every time I go to airport with my mother, and it's embarrassing for a tournament. One time, she's not allowed to check my bags in anymore. The guy asked me, security, what's this? Oh, they're weapons. Oh! Why would you say it's weapons at an airport? And the guy's like, what? I'm like, Mom, we are in Newark Airport, 9/11. You can't do that. Like, I'm literally like, Mom. And she was like, oh, they're like karate weapons. And I'm like, he's like, what? It doesn't make it better. I'm like, sir, I'm going to a karate tournament. It's a oar and a staff. And he's like, oh, okay. Oh. And then mom was like, oh, I'm like, Mom, you can't. She said, oh yeah. I'm like, Mother. And she does it all the time. Mother. She hasn't learned her lesson. It's been 8 years. Well,
speaking of like the airport situations, every time I go to a tournament and then I come back from said tournament, I always like to play this game where do they think my medals are going to be a bomb? Because sometimes if you get so many medals, it makes like a big brick almost. And when it goes through the X-ray scanner for the luggage, like the carry-on stuff, it comes up as just like this blob, like this block.
They're like, what is that?
And they pull it aside and they're like, what's in your bag?
And then they have to take everything out.
And then I'm there like, I know what pocket it's in. Just do it.
I'll be like, can I touch it? Can I tell you where it's
I
located?
can tell you where it is right now.
They're like, no, I got it.
It's in this pocket specifically.
No. They never listen. They just like, okay, and then they end up opening every single pocket.
Every single one.
Like, it's right there. It's right there.
Just open it. Just open it. There was another time when I was at WKC. It was in Italy, Toronto, Italy. And we were outside. It was a competition outside in a large tent. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of in the middle of summer-ish. It's getting closer to the fall. And there were bees everywhere.
Oh no, I would have panicked.
I was watching the judges and they were just doing this, trying to get the bees while they were watching competition and stuff. And one of the, I was practicing on the outside with my bow and I swung, I went, and I heard and I hit a bee. I just like thwacked a bee right across the room.
This went flying.
I was lucky that they weren't gonna chase me.
This is crazy. But one more thing though about WKC. Remember that time? I think this was my most embarrassing. Is when I was at nationals and you didn't compete, but you walked in just in time to see the error in my kata.
Oh,
you was like, because I was ending the form. You was like, that's not how it ends. And I was like, shh. Cause I'm like doing.
Wait! I was standing.
You were standing there, and
like...
I could see your face, but I'm facing towards the back. Mm-hmm. So I'm like just making things up. I'm just like, just going through the flow. I'm doing my form, and then all I feel is my uniform coming loose.
Yep.
So then I'm literally like pulling my V top down, fixing it because it's rising. Mm-hmm. But since my back is towards the judge, you're just like this. Cause you're like, I'm facing you. You're like, what are you doing? I'm like, shh, be quiet. Just fixing it before I turned around. And at the end, they were like, were you fixing? I'm like, shh, it's okay. I won. Don't worry about it. Like, I just didn't want my uniform to come off in front of the judges. I think that was embarrassing because everyone knew but them.
But that's also the best part.
Yeah, because I people was like, what was you doing? I was like, I was fixing my uniform. It kind of came loose, like the knots weren't knotting. So it was just really bad.
Next question. Wait, you already read this one.
Ask me the question.
Okay. Tell us about training. How do you train? What is your mindset? Does a tournament change your process? Okay, so first off, how do you train?
I train a lot differently than most people do.
Yeah, I've experienced this.
I feel like when I was younger, I just wanted to train my forms. Just wanted to train what I do for a tournament. And now it's more as in, I don't really train my form as much. I just train my basics. Mm-hmm. I come to class. Mm-hmm. I'm a student first. A lot of people, when they get to a higher level and they say, I'm gonna go train, they'll train their kata for like 2-3 hours. But for me, I could train my kata for 2 or 3 hours and I could get bored of it. Like, of course I train my kata, not for that long. I'll probably do a section.
Right.
But just for me to understand, I have to do the basics.
Yeah.
I have to come to class. I have to be with Shihan. I line up with everybody. We go over everything because to me, that's what martial arts training is. Yeah. Before a tournament, I'll probably train my kata a lot more to prepare like the timing, where I could use the basics that I do in class 4 and etc. Yeah. But I usually train about, this is gonna sound really bad. Sorry. I train about 3-4 times a week, karate only.
That's fine.
And then I go to the gym all week besides Sunday.
Right. That's not a bad
thing.
So
I do it's not.
Everyone trains differently.
True. So. And I feel like I also train people on Zoom.
Right.
So
you're still getting that teachable experience.
Yeah. So when I'm receiving it and then when I'm giving it, I feel like when you're also teaching someone, you're still training.
Right.
Because you're training your eyes, training your mind.
Yeah. You got to break it down. You got to break it down yourself.
Exactly. And then I have to get up and show them what I'm placing, and then sometimes it's like a full effect. Yeah. It's like, we ever have a teacher and they tell you something and you're like, what?
Yeah. And then later on you're like
my Shihan would be like, you have to put your here and this cobra and the snake and the what. I'd be like, huh? And then when I'm teaching it, I'd be like, oh, this is what he meant. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so smart.
Yeah.
But that's usually how I train. I train my mind and I train the basics. And I usually, before I compete for a tournament, I'm gonna train my katas just to get the timing and basics, how I want to visualize it. And what people also don't do when it comes to training, I train by watching videos. Training is not always physical.
Oh yeah.
It's also visual.
That kind of goes with what's your mindset, because it's not all just physical. It's not just using your body.
Yeah, I could be laying in bed. I'm looking at the ceiling. I'm just like
training. Yeah.
I could be in the market.
Visualizing.
I literally be like in the bathroom sometimes, like.
Yeah, exactly.
We were literally at the gas station yesterday getting snacks like water, and then it's me, Jeff, and Cameron walking, and then Jeff is just looking at me and Cameron just doing kata. I'm just like, I'm just like, and then like you could tell you do karate because we're just like, wow, like yelling everywhere. To me, like people think it's embarrassing. I'm just like, I'm in my own little world.
Okay.
It's like, ah.
Yeah.
Like I would literally pop out kata in the aisle. Wow. To my mom, she go shopping.
Grocery shopping.
Like she could just be there and I just hit her with a jab. Ah! so kumite. Ah! And she'd be like, Amber, she's trying to chase me. I'm like, we're like big kids in a store.
Yeah.
You want to be adults.
I still remember that.
And she pops around and hits me in the head. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
So mine's kind of the same way. A lot of the mental stuff that you were talking about, I train a lot by myself, just kind of before I teach. And I usually train about 2-3 hours, probably 3, like you were saying, 3-4 times a week. But I do a lot of my kata, because I do so many divisions, I train a lot of my forms in sections. And I either do it once or twice. And so it'll go one kata, section, and then switch to another thing. If it's like open forms, section. I'll kind of break in between each section of it, and then I'll come back to the first one. I have a lot of personalized training, usually on weekends, and then we'll have camp. And then those Sunday practices, I usually train one-on-one with my sensei.
Okay.
And then the tournament does change the process for me anyway. But it's not so like a stark change. It's like okay, there's more pressure, so I'm gonna make sure that this is just like fine-tuned in the way that I've been practicing.
Do you say you train more or hardcore when you get most closer to a tournament? Kind
of. I would say like the week of, I do like 3 days in a row and then 1 day off before I go to the tournament. And then at the tournament, I usually practice full for the next day, because usually when I get to a tournament, I hurt and I'm achy from flight and stuff, and so I gotta knock the rust off so that I know what to expect for the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like the closer I get to a tournament, I do train, but I don't train as hardcore. Yeah. One, because I'm accident prone. I'm always hurt. Yeah. I could walk down the stairs and I'll fall. Yeah. So when it comes to a tournament, I don't want to do a kata or do something and my knee gives out or my back gives out or I just injure myself. I'll walk. Or your wrist, your ligament kind of. Ligaments. Your ligament something tears always in your happens. Wrist. I have bad luck. I have bad luck when it comes to those things. So before a tournament, like the week of, I'll say like on a Monday, since I leave like on Thursdays or Friday morning. Yeah. That Monday and Tuesday are my last 2 days I'm training. Exactly. I'll rest Wednesday, Thursday. When I get there at the tournament, I still practice, but I don't go hardcore because, like I said again, I'm very accident prone. So it weighs. But actually, for kumite, it's a lot different. Yeah. Kumite. I believe it. Before I go to the tournament, I do light training and I do a lot of shadow boxing and shadow drills. I like to look in the mirror. I like to go through my movements. I'm a big defensive fighter than an offense fighter. I'll agree with that. Usually when I do like class sparring, I still spar, but like not to the level that you guys do. Yeah. But I find myself being a lot more defensive. But I'm a mover. I move a lot, and that's kind of like what my skill set is just keep moving. Exactly. When you see your opportunity. Yeah, and so like I like to watch a lot of boxing videos. That's really which cool. Is very weird. People say you watch boxing, you do karate, it's totally different. Really kind of not. when it comes to defense.
It's like one big Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Like, and they all kind of align with each
It's
other.
different styles.
Just like umbrella.
Different styles of martial arts. It's a martial art.
Yeah.
That's why when there's different karate styles, at the end of the day, it's still karate-do.
Yeah.
So I like to watch videos, and then people could see it in my fighting these days.
Yeah.
When like recently at nationals, they're like, "Wow, they can't touch her," because people take like really big steps back and going in. Me, I'm like, why would I want to put so much energy? Because I'm lazy. So to me, let me find a cheat sheet. Let me find how to get to point A to point B. So I'm gonna just move my hip,
Easy.
just a little bit, and they stop here, and then just whack them in the head. So I like to usually train for, or I do kata and staging, which throws them off.
Yeah. There you go.
At nationals, I was just doing kata backstage with my kumite gear on. They're like, "What is she doing?" And I was just like, "Hey, it's the same thing."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, let's see. Oh, what's been your peak achievement, and where do you go from here?
Ooh.
That's
Dang.
very good.
Oof. I have two peak achievements, to be quite honest. One of my, like my name achievement that I've had within the past few years has been in Chicago, aka Warrior Cup stage. That was the first time that I got on that stage. And I was so extremely proud of myself because since I was a kid, I remember when I was in grade school, we had a sheet that our teacher gave us, and it was this thing where we had to write down our short-term and long-term goals. And I just remember my short-term goals being like, win first place, or like, do good in my forms and stuff like that. Because everything was about karate when you were in grade school. So we've been doing it since we were teeny tiny. So, and then I remember my long-term goals being like winning grands, winning grand championship. And then I remember very, very starkly and very vividly writing down, be on stage for a tournament. And when I wrote that, I envisioned the stage at AKA Warrior Cup in Chicago. And as soon as I got on that stage, I was like, this is where I belong. This is my moment. I've achieved my goals since I was a child. Even if I lose, I do not care. This is where I'm living right now. And it was just one of the best feelings. And I just remember looking forward. You were there. And
wasn't on a team yet.
No, but you were cheering me on, and everyone was jumping up, and it was just, everyone was wearing green, and it was one of the best feelings in the world, just looking out and seeing that sea of green, just of everyone cheering you on and stuff. And it's the best feeling in the world, you know what it's like.
Yeah, I wasn't even on the team, and I was like, this is insane.
I know.
Like, I felt so left out,
Oh.
and I felt so awkward sitting in that sea of green, but I was like, that's my friend.
And then,
God, stay so on.
and then my other one is just, honestly, this year, I just felt something changed about how I looked at things. And I just remember feeling much more secure and confident in my abilities, in my martial art, and finally getting over that hump of feeling not, I guess, included, or feeling like I was not doing like the best I could do. And I feel much more confident in how I pursue my dream, and I feel much more confident in my actions moving forward in the martial art. And it took a really long time for me to hit that point. And all of the doubt, all of the self-pity, all of the negativity, I just woke up one day and I was like, this uses so much energy that it's not even worth it. Like, I could just wake up today and say, I am enough. I can do this. I can be myself. I can be me naturally. And that's something that has given me the most success. It's just going with the flow, being myself, and just being me. Yeah.
I think I could spin off that too. Well, my greatest
Your
Peak
greatest
achievement.
Your peak achievement.
Cool.
So it doesn't even have to be this year.
I know. I have 2 actually.
Okay.
Wait, actually, yeah, I have 2. Maybe I have 3. It happened all so soon. First, I do want to say my first big peak achievement was last year. I'm gonna start off last year around the same time. We're in October right now, so WKC Worlds is coming, and Diamonds is coming. I set a goal for myself last year. I wanted to be either the first foreign person or like in like a long time or someone like me. I said I want to win every single league that I go to. I did WKC, I did WKU, and NASCA. At the end of the year, AKA, I was first in NASCA for both trad, challenge, and jab. I was overall grand winner in WKC, and I won WKU. That was my goal. It was such a tiring year because in order to get all those points up for NASCA itself,
you gotta go so
you
many.
have to go everywhere. And not even like the big NASCA. Go to the 3As.
Yeah, the little
They'll give you 500 points. They'll give you 300. They'll give you 700. They give you 200. They give you something, you know?
Something.
So like that was like one of my biggest goals that I wanted for a long time before people knew who I was as like Amber or the Queen Amber.
The Queen.
But that was my biggest goal. So at AKA, I was like, yes, I finally did it. And at AKA, I wanted to do another goal. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be on stage in forms, not weapons, because I never knew that competing in OR was good enough to be on stage.
You got on stage a lot this year.
Trad, OR. And then I did AKA, and then I just did my trad weapon, and I did OR. And when I won, I was just like, huh? And then the judges was like, yeah, you did that.
I was watching and I was like,
even Gabrielle in the corner, she was like, oh my God, Amber, like, ah. And I was looking at her like, okay, I won because she's going crazy, you know? So then when I got on stage, just like your moment, I remember last year you had like your own reel. And AKA has all these like cameras and that whole
everywhere.
visual
like
of going on the
360.
map. So when I got on that stage, it felt unreal.
Yes.
Like stepping up there.
Yeah.
And all those blinding lights, I was like, oh my God.
It's like you're.
It's weird. I was just like, and then
it's like
you
you're
can't
stepping
see
into
nobody.
like limbo or something.
You can't see no one.
Exactly.
And then
it's just dark.
It's dark. And then I see
around.
Canel sitting there on the table. And then I was so nervous. And then I remember when I bowed, Bao walked in, and then you guys was like, no tricks, no flips, just karate, go.
Yeah.
It took every being in me to not smile and laugh.
I know.
I was like, and then I went backstage, and Haley was like, bruh. And then they were like, that was dope. And Haley was like, bruh, that was fire.
It was probably one of the
best. It was really cool. And I remember seeing Canel, and I just realized no matter what happened that day, I did something. Like I bought like a traditional weapon on that stage. Like tradition can win, tradition can be up there. So that was another goal. My goal was just to be on AKA, but being on the stage was a goal. My last one just recently happened. We were just talking about it during lunch.
Yeah.
The US Open. How I keep forgetting.
I know, right?
I keep forgetting. I was the first female African American to be on stage in forms, my first try, and I ended up winning.
Yeah.
That still don't process. You said that I told you. I did.
Well,
I forget.
I don't recall like the entire history of the U.S. Open, but even if you weren't the first African American to be on stage for forms as a female, you were the first winner
to win it.
And
then that, like, when that happened, I was like, oh. And then Canel called me like the whole month, like,
I know.
He's like, did it hit yet? Did it hit yet? And then I'm like, no, sir, because I'm still out here in AAU Nationals.
Exactly.
Competing
You're
again.
Still going.
And then I have to go to another national championship. I'm at AAU. I'm doing OR again.
Yep.
And I'm doing it differently. And some of the people saw me. They're like, oh, you do NASCA. You were just at Orlando. You did like, oh, what are you doing here? And then I'm doing OR. And then they're like, she's not going to win the OR. And I ended up winning the grand for OR, the overall. And like now I'm on a flyer, things are happening, and then I feel like I have a purpose of why I do what I do for my achievements. I'm not winning for myself momentarily. I'm winning because I never really had someone to look up to. So my biggest peak achievements is seeing kids that look like me, boys and girls, saying, okay, I can do this. Like, there's someone doing this. Like, I'm not just a fighter. We all fight. We all spar. I love to spar. Am I going to do point sparring? Maybe. Maybe. You know, it might happen. I have some gear. Trust me, I definitely practice.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind getting in the ring. I like to focus on other things. I want to be different.
Yeah. But I think the best thing is to watch those who are younger than you and wanting to get to that point, to that next level.
Yeah.
And then they come in, they tell you that. I think that's something that is it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
Because you get to see that moment happen for them where they realize, oh my gosh.
Like, I could be that.
Exactly.
Oh, that's pretty
Because
cool.
we've all had that moment.
Yeah.
But especially like you and I, because we talk about this a whole lot.
Like even in like traditionalist world, I have someone that I always looked up to. Her name is Cheryl Murphy, because she looks like me.
We love Cheryl.
And now she's my mentor.
I know.
Which is crazy. It's crazy. Like, it's like a dream. I'm like, and she's like really Amber. I'm like, sorry.
No, it really it is, honestly.
But yeah, when it comes to open, every time I compete, I do have parents come up to me saying, I like what you're doing. Like my kids love watching you. I love watching you. I had people come up to me saying, you're doing this for the community and
for a reason.
Like, we're really proud of you. And then at US Open, a lot of people in that community came up to me when it's like New York, PA, because that's like my home ground, East Coast. They're like, we're so proud of you. And then to me, I'm just like, wow, like I'm doing something. Especially when they
wipe back the tears. Oh.
Definitely, it gets really like emotional because if they would have known like all the stuff I had to go through just to get to that point, like Coach Mr. Lovelace, he knows like I would be on the phone crying. My mom will like, she'll see me crying. Like I'm like, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. I would never make it. And then I was like, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. But he's right.
But he's right.
He's right.
And
because
it stinks that he's right,
when you look at
right?
it, I've been doing this for how many years, but
so long.
It goes by so fast. And now look where we're at. Look what I'm doing. And then like, time is passing by. So it does get emotional because you know how you got emotional too when you talk about your experience and what it took to get there. It's still emotional. Sometimes I have my moments when I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to train. I don't want to go here. But then when I get to tournaments, and even if I don't win, I'm like, it's not like I'm doing this for a reason. Like that was my only push. See, when I went to like my whole like depression stage last year, and I had to go to tournaments, I wasn't doing it for me. I had people counting on me, so that's what I did it for. So that's pretty much my peak achievements is the little boys and girls who smile at me.
That's good.
And also are scared of me
because
of my karate face.
I know, right?
You were scared of me.
I was.
The whole team was scared of me.
That's a totally other story.
The whole team was like, Amber's so mean, but I'm just like, hi. I'm like, hi.
You were in your zone.
Yeah.
Sis. You were in your zone.
That's my karate face.
If you had to learn a weapon you have never used before, what would it be and why? Which weapon would you least like to learn?
Oh my gosh.
If you had to learn a weapon you have never used before, what would it be and why?
That I never used
Oh,
before.
goodness.
I feel like I know a lot of weapons.
I know.
When it comes to like traditional weapons.
For me, there isn't really one that I would least like to learn. I want to learn the meteor hammer. I don't know if you've ever seen the meteor hammer. There are so many people that I know, especially through here, that do the meteor hammer. Do you know what a meteor hammer is?
No, I'm guessing you say hammer.
Oh my gosh. It's like literally the head, like a half head of a hammer on a string. You ever seen a whip chain? You know what a whip chain is? It's the one that Sengao does.
Oh, yeah.
The one with the flag. So the meteor hammer, like you slam it on the ground and it goes, pat! It's so like the reason why, the reason why it's a meteor hammer is because sometimes when you slam it on the ground, it creates like a dent in the ground, and it can burn through paper. Like if you slam, like when you put it, like, bah, it like burns through paper.
Yeah, that's not for me. Again, accident prone. That's not for me.
I know how to. I've done whip chain before. I did 9-section whip chain for a bit.
I remember.
You do remember.
and I was in awe.
I practiced with tennis balls on a string.
That's
You just cut the
crazy.
little thing of a tennis ball and you stick a knot inside of it on a string.
That's really
Just swing it,
crazy.
yeah.
That's something you would want to do.
Meteor hammer?
Yeah, me.
Heck yeah.
Does it have to be traditional? It could be anything. I
It
think
could be anything.
I feel like something I would want to do is commas.
Honestly.
Like the
no,
creative
you've
extreme commas.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna blame Haley Glass for that.
I was about to say we about to
Shout out to Haley Glass.
Hey.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
the way she does it, I'm just like, she's not human.
Honestly,
What's going
wait,
on?
there's a move that she does. Oh my gosh, I love this move when she does it. I'm gonna get up for this
she's
because
getting up,
honestly,
folks.
I'm getting up. So when she does it, it's the coolest thing. She like turns, but she like goes down and then
Oh my
comes
God,
back
yeah.
up. I love that part.
When
That's
she
my
does
favorite
that,
part.
I could just feel my
Bam.
knees. I could feel the cracks in my knees when she does that. And I'd be like, whoo, but she gets up so like full force and like, and she's like super fast. There was
Yes.
a video she posted, she was somewhere and she was just like nonchalant. I was like, Mom, look at this. She
got the
just nonchalant, just twirling it.
she got
you know?
them Jimmy John's hands.
Yeah, but I feel
Freaky
like
fast
I would
delivery.
just love to like do some cut sevens or do some yeah, and I always want to make those noises. I want to make those noosh noosh ah, and doing the entrance. The music be like. So that's something I would want to do. I would love to do the commas.
One day
Creative extreme.
we'll make you an open form, and then you can put your comments.
It's very planned, but yeah, it's very planned. I'll say like give me like a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Year and a half.
Okay, next
You
question.
heard it here, folks.
You heard it here.
Wait, you forgot to do what's one that
There
you
isn't
don't want.
there isn't really one that I would least like to do because
Really?
in my opinion, all weapons have value. At some point, they were used in history,
I guess.
and like even in like current media, there's kind of unlimited things that you can do with everyday objects and stuff.
True.
So like extension cords could be
Yeah.
like that meteor hammer.
I feel like I
or
can't think of a
like
weapon either.
tonfa or like police baton or
Yeah.
like you could use a freaking ladder.
Hey, it was a video going around with someone doing the ladder.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today.
But like, I feel like you're right. I can't think of a weapon that I wouldn't want to learn because I always want to learn something because you
There's
already,
some
you
weapons-
already know me.
Yeah.
Like my goal is to do every weapon.
Every weapon.
Every trad
Every
weapon.
trad weapon
on
ever.
circuit. That's why I started doing size this
Every
year.
trad weapon ever.
Like I'm trying to do size.
Yeah, yeah.
And size is very hard.
I'm waiting for tonfa.
Oh.
I'm waiting for tonfa.
Tonfas is really hard too.
I know.
It's gonna happen.
See,
but-
there's weapons that we've both done that were like, this isn't really for me. Like I did trad comma and I was like, it's not working out. It's not working out. I wish it was, but it's just not working out.
It's just hard.
But it's fun. It's always fun to play with something new, but
yeah,
sometimes
I don't
it just
like
doesn't
Psy.
like.
I don't really like Psy. I do. The,
Which is so hilarious because you
Because
look so good doing it.
people say it, but I'm just like, but I don't like Psy, but I really hate the aura too. But
Which
the
is
aura
so
is my thing.
stinking ridiculous.
The aura is my thing.
considering that's like
My number one thing.
The-
That's like the blueprint.
amazingest
It's
weapon that
everything.
you've done.
I know, but it's so heavy. My arms fall off.
I know.
And I'm
Yep.
just, and then every time, I think that's why I look so good doing it. 'Cause I'm like, I hate this thing. I hate this thing.
You just win out of spite.
Literally, I'm like, and then I key eye, right? Like when I key eye, I'm like, this stinging thing. Like I really hate it.
That's called channeling your energy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh, this is really good. It says, tell us about nerves. How do you feel pre-competition or during the event?
Cool. I'm an anxious baby, to be quite honest. I'll usually to get the nerves out, I just have to keep talking. I just have to keep moving and keep talking. I will stick my headphones on. I'll play Rammstein, Freddie Dredd, just like stuff to get me like heavy hitters and into the mood. Just like really getting myself in the mood. And I have to usually like talk to people about the nerves that I'm feeling and what specifically I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
Because usually when you're nervous or anxious, it's something out of fear. And if you're afraid of something, you can't go in and face it or work with it. You have to like channel it somehow. Usually that I'm talking to my mom and I'm like, this is what I'm afraid of. And she's like, okay, well, here's what we can do to help with that and what you're confident in. And we know what your strengths are and here's what you have to do. And I'm like, yep, that makes sense. And one of the main things, like right before I go up, after I turn and I face the judges, after whoever has already competed walks off, I usually do like, I beat my chest 3 times. I don't know if I can do it now, but I just go, and I'm just like, I'm ready to go. Cause usually, I'm gonna mention Avery Plowden right now, because you see Avery getting ready for his fight. Avery is pacing, he's walking around, he's yelling, he's like, oh, and that just always sticks in my head. But it's a good thing because I'm like, right now, I have so much tension built up in my diaphragm. I just need to Avery Plowden this stuff. Just like yell and get it out.
Let it all out.
Yep, just letting it all out.
I feel like I'm the same way. When it comes to me and nerves, it depends. What am I nervous about?
Yep.
Because nerves, like everyone is always nervous to compete, but that's just nerves, butterflies. But if there's something that's pinpoint in my nerves, like, is it a person I'm nervous about?
Right.
Is it the form? Is it the location? Is it the judges? It's always something that leads you back to why you're nervous.
It's a lot of external factors that kind of push it on there. It's not as much like what we're thinking. It's like stuff that could influence from the outside.
Especially, let's say if you're doing like a new form. You're doing a new form, you get really nervous because you don't want to mess up.
Yep.
And that's why I always do a new form.
Yeah.
Like, you would never know what form I'm doing.
Exactly. I don't know what form
everyone hates it.
I'll ask you and you'll be like, I don't know.
I'll be like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I'll figure out when I get there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's me. I bow, whatever comes out my mouth, I'm doing it, okay?
You just do it. Well, that's quite literally the definition of like not even thinking, just doing.
I bow and then I'm like, super and pay. I guess I'm doing super and pay.
Okay.
Might as well channel it now.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just something, and that always comes with training.
Yep.
And which is why I don't just train one kata.
Yep. You train all of them.
I train my basics, because if you train your basics, I believe you could put that basic in any kata you could do.
Yeah.
So if you just want to train one kata, you're gonna be really good at one kata.
Yep.
But then when you do other katas, it's like it's not gonna fit the same way, or it's not gonna look like the kata. And I'm not saying this as a person to say I could do every kata. I can't do every kata. No. I tried to.
Yeah. See, we could try, but at least we're trying.
Yeah,
you know?
we try. What's the worst that could happen? I lose, then well.
It'd be like that.
No, like in order to become a winner, you have to lose 1,000 times before you win. People don't understand that. People think that I train so hard, I'm gonna go to a tournament, I'm gonna win. Here's some reality. Because you train hard doesn't mean you're gonna win. So to me, it's like I'm gonna just do my best.
Do your best. That's all you
my
can
goal
do.
is to win.
Yes.
Everyone's goal is to win. But I'm gonna do my best.
My goal when I go into that ring is to do the best that I can do.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. No one else's opinion matters. My mom's doesn't matter. My coach's doesn't matter. My competitors doesn't matter. The judges' opinions doesn't matter. What matters is that I know that I did my best. And that's quite literally, that's the motto that I live by, is knowing that I did my best and that I felt my best. Yeah.
But before I got off topic, but for my nerves, I listen to Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
Because she's also a queen.
She's also a queen.
She's
awesome.
The queen. Okay. Sorry, Cardi B fans.
But debatable.
She's the queen, so I like to listen to her. She pumps me up, and I use her quotes. Like remember
for your captions.
Yeah, and also the video I made, me, you, and Lainey, the big three. The big three. It was me, you, Lainey, and then it was like, whoa, that was a cool bar.
Yeah, right.
Because I like her music, so I listen to Nicki Minaj. It gets me pumped up. Feminist, you know, she's like female power, so I'm on her sideline like, yeah. And then the music is upbeat. I can't listen to something, because upbeat movement makes my energy, my blood rush, I'm ready to go out there. And then also I just keep telling myself, like, I just tell myself some like, be cocky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you need a little bit of edge.
I'm like cocky, but I be like, this is what goes on in my head, guys. I get in my ring, and then I see people here, and I actually got this from one of my dojo mates, Joey Castro. Because he watches this. Okay, so this is what always stuck with me. If I'm at a tournament and I'm nervous, in order to get rid of my nerves is, if I see someone on that mat, I pretty much say to myself, how dare you step in front of me and think you're gonna beat me. So I kind of,
you gotta run that through.
You're
This is
here?
my ring.
This is my, like, this is
my
my win.
ring.
Oh, how dare you
This is
step in front of
my
me?
ring.
Oh, you think you're gonna beat me?
Yeah.
Me? Do you know who I am? Like,
Do you know who
so
I am?
So that gets me pumped up, like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then I've been like, but honestly now, like, you was open, like the big tournament, I get really excited. I don't get anxious or nervous. I get excited.
You get excited.
I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a show. Like, it'd be me, you, Lainey, Katie, Gabrielle. Like, we're all lined up. I'm like, oh.
We here.
I'd be like, like, you here too? You
We
here?
here.
Oh,
We
you're
here.
here? Oh, it's gonna be a
It's
show.
time.
Everybody gather
It's
around.
time.
We're gonna put on the show.
Yep.
So that's just me. It gets me pumped up. So when it comes to nerves, if I'm nervous, it's because I'm probably doing a new kata that I know I probably would get hurt. But when it comes to a person, somebody else, I'm just like, I ain't nervous. Like, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be the big dog, or who's gonna end up on top today? So that's just me.
Ooh. Who is your favorite sport karate competitor? What makes them so impressive? That's a hard question.
That's
There's
a
too
really
many
hard
good people.
question. That's a hard question. Sport karate, so that means
Okay.
it has to be sport karate. Cool.
Sport karate. Well, here's the thing. You could consider sport karate to be WKF as well, because that is, sport karate. Or WKF, AAU, etc., etc., etc.
True, but I feel like us people who do WKF AAU, we don't really consider that sport karate.
What is it considered?
Traditional karate. Traditional WKF. I feel like sport karate when you
But it's
do,
a sport.
Yeah, it's a sport, but like we don't call it sport karate. You guys call it sport karate. We just karate.
You're like tomato right now.
Tomato.
No, not even.
Potato.
It's like the same exact thing, like tomato.
It is,
Tomato.
It is the same exact thing. I'm glad you say that because it is the same thing.
Tomato.
But I feel like, I'm just gonna do some.
Okay,
I'm just gonna do
okay.
open circuit.
Or open circuit?
So,
Okay, let's do open circuit.
My favorite person to go up against.
Competitor.
I'm gonna say weapons. Because
I have so many.
I'm gonna say weapons because because for forms it just depends. But when it's always in weapons, I feel like for grands, my favorite person is Haley and Katie McMillan.
Yeah, Haley Glass, Kaelyn McKinnon.
Katie McMillan, she just got into adult division, but me and her relate so well because, and Haley, because we do a different kind of karate when it comes to females, where we're just like, we're not trying to be like smooth and flow and so we're like
hardcore.
No, we're hardcore.
It's
like
hard.
we're trying to like kill you. Or,
Exactly.
Like when we're doing our weapon or our forms,
I get out of your way.
We're there.
When you're ready,
it's
I'm
like,
like
it's like once we bow in, it's
I'm
like
out.
it's on.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like I like versatile because to me it's like I can relate to them and they push me. Katie pushes me because she has the spirit. She has a dominant spirit. It's a lot. And you can hear her key eye from across the freaking arena. Up goes Katie.
Yep, I can start.
Haley pushes me because of how strong she is. When she does her form, she is so strong, and that's how I always. That's my karate. I want to look strong.
Yeah.
I want to look like I could kick her butt.
Yep.
Even when I get off the mat. If people don't feel like they fear me after I do my form, then I'm not doing something right.
Good model.
I always get people come like grown men. Oh my God, you were really killing someone.
You're scary.
Or oh my God, you were beating someone up. Or wow, you look like you're really hitting that person. I'm like, yes, karate.
Of course.
It's karate.
You're
it's
supposed
a combat
to.
sport.
If you're not,
You
you're
have
doing
to make,
something
You
wrong.
have to make it look real. So
Yeah.
I like versing those two girls. They really remind me of myself and make me want to like push me to be like, okay, you're strong, I'll be stronger. You're fast, I'll be faster.
Yeah.
I'll be louder. So
Exactly.
that's just, I like versing those two.
Yeah.
So what about you?
For forms, I have to say you.
Really?
Yes, because I love everyone that I compete with. I have no like hatred or ill will towards anyone, but for some reason you hit different because you quite literally, we're basically here. It's one of these situations.
Yeah.
We're so neck and neck all of the time, and when we compete with each other, it's literally anyone's game.
Yeah.
Because we're both pushing each other. We know what the expectation is, and we
Exactly.
hold each other accountable for that. And so I think one of the best things is that knowing that you're there means that I'm going to have a good competition. It's because I know what I don't technically know what to expect, but I know that I have to step up my own game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're the same way, but I mean,
I
that's
think-
like, yeah, no.
It is the same way, especially, I remember the time it was Capital Classics last year.
I was that close.
I know. Remember when I FaceTimed you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you were like, I wish you were
I
here.
FaceTimed you and Lainey
I
because
wish you were here.
when you guys are there, I'm at my best game.
Yeah.
And when you guys weren't there at Caps, and I
just don't feel right.
I felt so off. I didn't have my hype woman. I didn't have my teammates, to push
Yeah.
me. Let's go, to get into my zone. It was really hard. I'm just like, oh, I felt off. I felt weird. I felt weirded off.
Yeah.
I felt back to when I was on a different team and there was no one there. but when I joined the team, and then I have all like my friends, especially you and Lainey, like with a big three, like I said, Drive Challenge, we're always there together.
Yeah.
Us three, we push each other.
We push each other.
And it's like I have my dogs with me.
My dogs, bro, with
I
our
have my
dogs. But when it comes to weapons, you had already said Haley, so I can't take Haley.
You can take Haley.
I, but, yeah.
Haley's that girl.
Haley is her first off. But I love competing with Sarah.
Oh, I love Sarah. Yes.
Sarah Campbell. Sarah Campbell is one of probably the most innovative women's weapons competitors that I've ever met. First woman to do a triple, by the way.
Yeah.
Triple spin.
I remember
Triple spin and catch.
At Capitals.
Caps.
Yeah, just recently.
Yep, just recently. And she, every time I compete with her, it's the same thing. We're pushing each other. It's neck and neck.
She actually pushed me out of my shell too a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember at US Open when it was me and her for track?
Yes.
And I did or before her. She was after me, but I called her out in the Mikado.
That's right. Yep.
Like, two of my
We got that
last
strategy.
I was like, Sarah! And the whole arena was like, oh. And I bowed down. I was like, sup?
Whoa. I was off to the side. I was like,
I just called you out.
did she just say that?
Yeah, I just called you out.
She just said that.
I just called you out. Well, I love Sarah. She's definitely, she's
So,
a good
so
competitor.
you and Sarah and Haley, because those are definitely the top dogs. And
Yeah.
I love competing with the big dogs.
Oh, definitely. And I like local tournaments when they combine the men and women. Because to me, I'm like, I'm about to make y'all men look like babies. You think you're strong?
Babies.
Oh, wait till I get on that stage. Are you doing the same form as me? Oh, it's raps.
It's done. It's done.
Raps.
It's done.
So I think men push me more too.
Yes.
Because people expect women to be more feminine. We are. We're feminine. But I could also do what they can do. And then I prove that time and time. And I sometimes, if it's combined and some of the guys, they'll be like, I'll be like, I'll be like, oh.
Catch them lacking.
I'm like, you nervous?
You
I think
nervous?
I'm like, you're going first. Good luck. You know? And they be like, dang it, you're very.
It's almost like a very humbling, very good
Yeah.
feeling when you're like the only woman in a grand championship.
Which has happened a bunch of times.
Yep.
I'm the only woman. I think you see me be the only woman.
Oh, a lot of times.
Yeah.
There's
And
been a
then-
lot of times where I've seen you.
Yeah, and then I'm just
both
like,
have it,
let's go. Doing this for the women.
It's a good test.
It's a really good test, especially on my strength. Ooh, wait, this is what is your favorite competition moment? That's hard.
We kind of
So
already
many.
had talked about them. Mine was like AKA and seeing everyone in front of me.
That's your favorite. I think it's favorite peak, the competition moment. So like,
Competition moment. Oh gosh. On stage last year at the US Open when I did one of the best forms of my life.
oh, that was good. The Shantayara.
Yep.
Chris.
It was probably like when I still look back at it and I'm like, obviously there's still stuff that I can improve with it, but
Of course.
the fact that I made it there and did as well as I did, I thought that was one of my best katas.
It was.
Out of all the time.
It was, especially on stage.
Competed. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like it was really crisp, and even everybody around was like, "Whoa!" Like you stepped into your bag that day.
Yeah.
So that was good. I was on the sideline, like
I was in my pocket. I was in my mind, and I was like, let's get this done.
yeah.
Let's do this work.
Then you actually pushed me for this coming year.
Yeah.
So I was like, Kaelyn was on stage last year. I gotta be on stage this year. So I was like, I don't care what happened. I said somebody on our team need to be on stage.
Yep.
And I was like, and it's gonna be me.
It's
It
gonna
has
be
to
you.
be me. I could just feel it. And then the moment I won Trad Challenge, I like cried. I was like, and then Joy was like, it's not over yet. I'm like, okay.
Let me get through this first. Let me feel something.
Let me be happy that I won Trad. Okay.
So mine was US Open. Was yours kind of?
Mine was Toronto of last year.
Toronto last year.
Mine was Toronto because Toronto, that was my first time on stage for overall grand in both weapons and forms, and then I won both the same night.
Yeah.
So it was my first time on stage for grands, and my first time I win. It's like a first for first.
You
like,
killed it.
First
You had
and then you
such
was
a good
open
year.
first for first. And I'm just like, might as well just go out, and just
You're
knock
killing
it out
the
the park. So
you're killing that.
that was my favorite, and I think that goes back to Rashad. He was like, again, I'm making history. That was a history moment because I believe I was the first who won double grands.
Yes.
For forms and weapons. So that was my biggest. Cause
history.
The only thing I was mad about was just exchanging the Canada bucks for the US dollars. I was like, I got robbed. I won $1,000 of Canadian bucks. Come home, I'm like, what is this?
I know. It's only like $700.
I was like, this is like $700. Like, you just took away my money.
Someone needs to fix that exchange rate. I'm looking at you, Rose. I was just telling her about that. She bought a $14 American sandwich, and she was like, "This is ridiculous." And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she was like, "It's a $14 American sandwich." And I'm like, "How much is it Canadian?" And she's like, 25 Canadian. And I'm like, "Why did you buy a $14 sandwich, Rose?"
Yeah, why does he buy a $14?
I love you, Rose, so much.
She's like, it's 25 Canadian.
Aww, this.
Okay, this made me cry.
This one might make us cry.
No.
I can already feel it. Starting.
Man.
What made you want to compete? What keeps you going when it gets tough?
Dang, we just talked about that too. I have to read for myself.
What made you want to compete?
What made me? Oh, okay. So like, I'll start from the beginning. Well, when I was younger, I did a lot of sports, and I guess I'm the only child, so I guess you could say I was very coddled. My mom loved me a little extra too much, which I don't mind.
You could say you're spoiled.
Anyway, I mean, not anymore. Mom, I need to spoil. Okay, but yeah, I was definitely spoiled as a kid. And hey, now it's my turn to spoil her. But I was very hands-on. I love hugs. I love kisses. I love like the attachment. And I guess when I got to school, I was just a scary child. I was always scared of everything. I get to school and I guess I was different. I was always picked on. And I was picked on because of the way I act. So I went to a diverse school. And thing about public schools is you're always in the category. Yeah. And
you're always kind of shoved in some kind of box.
And according to my category, by race and color, I was too black for the white, too white for the black. Makes no sense. I was a crybaby. I couldn't stand up for myself, so it was just very hard to make friends. I made friends in sports, but not in my classroom. So one time I got bullied and I just didn't care. I was like, so what? I'll beat you up at school. So what? Whatever. Like, I was just tired of it. I saw like a karate video. I think it was like Tiger Showman or something. The kid jumping on the bed. I was like, I'm gonna do karate. So then my mom then took me to Tiger Showman, took me to some karate school for like traditional karate school. And then I saw one of my people, my friends to this day. His name is Devin Javois. He did untu, and he did like a jump. And then in my head, I was like, that's so cool. He got so high. And we did so much cardio. My mom was like, she's not gonna wanna do this. I left the class. She was like, you wanna quit, right? I was like, no, I want to come back again. I just felt something inside me felt better.
Yeah.
And even when that happened, of course, I was still bullied in middle school.
Right.
Still bullied in high school.
Yep.
But I learned how to stand up for myself in high school. And then when I got to college, it was more people like me, I guess you can say. But I just got tired of being picked on. I got tired of being a crybaby.
Yeah.
And the thing is, now that I'm older, it's like, it's okay to cry. I still cry.
Yeah.
I still cry. This whole team knows how much I cry. Like,
same.
Like, it's okay to cry, because when people cry around me, I'm not going to be like, you're a crybaby. I'm going to be like, what's wrong? I have so much empathy.
Yeah.
And I believe that's a problem. That's because I have so much empathy. It's like, if you start crying, I'm going to start crying.
Yeah.
So I got into martial arts because of that. That was my journey. And then I guess the reason why I still do what I do is because I just feel like everyone could relate. Karate is not just a sport, it's a way of life. The pun, karate, way of life. Yeah. So it's a way of life, and I will be doing this forever, but not competing. But karate will be part of my life forever.
Right.
But it definitely started off with me getting bullied, and it also helps me with everything else, my anxiety and my depression. Like, you saw me last year. Last year I was at my lowest. Like, I didn't want to do anything. You could go back into my Facebook post and the amount of weight I lost. People think it was Keith and Lainey. It was you guys. You guys helped. But it got to a point where I was sick because I was stressed. I didn't want to eat, and then too many life things were happening, and karate definitely helped me keep going. You helped me keep going. You helped me. I didn't want to compete, but you were there, and then you guys were talking about tournament this, tournament that. I showed up. And things happened, and then when I showed up, I started winning. I started winning at my lowest, of my lowest mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I feel like karate just helps with a lot of things, and I do it because, I don't know, I guess it's just a way to escape, and I get to do things, and it's also, I put my feelings into my kata.
Yep.
Like, my kata never looks the same. I'm telling a story. So even when I was at my lowest, I always told a story. Yeah. I was doing my form differently. I was angry. I'm sad. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm jittery. Let's go. But karate, to me, karate is like, it's a health drug. Keeps me healthy. It keeps me going, and it just keeps me happy. So I do karate because it's my life, and it forever will be.
When I was younger, I think honestly, when I started when I was 6, I wanted to be a Power Ranger.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I wanted to be the pink Power Ranger. And so I brought a flyer home from my mom, and I was like, I want to do this. This is gonna make me a Power Ranger. My mom was like, are you sure? I was at that age where like kids try everything.
Yeah.
And they go into like cheer, gymnastics, soccer,
but you
football,
always end up quitting because you got bored.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so I was like, I don't want to do anything else. I want to be in karate because I want to feel cool. My mom was like, you're gonna be like walking by yourself to school. You need some kind of self-defense training, something like that. So that's what she used it for. My mind was on Power Ranger. And as I kept going, you know, that's all I knew. I tried one other sport. I'm not very good at any sport with a ball, to be quite honest. Baseball, softball, basketball, volleyball, tetherball. Not for me. Golf, tennis. Not for me.
Not for you.
Nothing. Nope. And so I was like, I'm just gonna stick with this, and I have pretty much ever since. Now, what made me want to compete kind of nationally, because I had always competed since I was young. I did my home school's tournaments and went to locals in MSKC and stuff like that, the Michigan Sport Karate Circuit. And what made me actually start to want to compete nationally was I saw a video on TV of the U.S. Open, the TV channel version. That just says karate. It doesn't say like U.S. Open karate. It says just karate. And I saw Tyler Weaver and Mackenzie Emery doing their sync form. And I remember that they all flipped at the same time and did like that. And I was like, I looked at my mom and I was like, I'm gonna do that. I wanna be up there. I'm gonna be there. And then I just had started and just kept going ever since. And there's never been a year of my life that I haven't done karate. I've been doing this for like 14, 15 years. And there's never been a year where I've just never done karate. I've done karate at some capacity every single year of my life. And that's all I know. And that can get really, really rough, because if it's all you know and you're trying to branch out into other stuff, that kind of imposter syndrome, where you're like, do I really deserve this? Is this something that I really want to do? I don't deserve all of this. This is not my own doing. And we've had conversations so often about how much we can't stand it, how much we want to just end it all and just start from scratch with something else. But there's always something else to look forward to. And having you there to talk through that, there's no other type of thing that really helped. And I think this is where it's gonna start. Because I just remember a time where I was so overwhelmed. I didn't want to teach. I didn't want to compete. I didn't want to do anything, because I couldn't stand feeling like a fraud for going to all of these events, doing so well and not attributing it to anything, because my past is totally different from your past. I grew up in a totally different setting. I did Tang Sudo, I did Shaolin Kung Fu, I did Wushu. I didn't do any of the Japanese traditional styles that you grew up with, because you grew up straight through Shotokan, right? And that's all you know. And so I'm growing up, I'm trying to branch out into these other styles, and when I'm winning them with them, I felt bad, because these people who were owing their life to their one style, and here I am showing up with stuff I learned a month ago through someone who has done that their whole life, and that made me feel bad. And a lot of the time, it just brought me way down. We've both been through that type of depressive stage. We've both listened to each other through that. And what really kept me going was showing up.
You're on my speed dial, especially when I.
You're still on my speed dial. I can show you right now. You're in my favorites. You're like my second one in my favorites.
I feel like, because even last year I had someone who always told me, because before I started like placing first, I only placed second. I was always second to someone. Always second. If the person who won first wasn't there, you think I'll get first because I'm always in second. Right. No, the person who got third would get first. That person's not there. The person who got fourth would get first. I'm still in second, and it repeats the cycle. I remember this one person told me, he was like, "You will always be my favorite second place person," and that broke me. Mentally, because I was just like, why would you say that? You know. And I already felt bad, because I called my mom the night when I kept getting second. I was like, I'm always losing, never win. When is it my time? When is it my turn? And she was like, it will happen. You have to be patient. I remember Canel said, forget what they said. Why? What is wrong with me? So I thought it was a me thing. That hurts the most, is asking what's wrong. I don't want to train no more. I don't want to come here no more if I'm not going to win. I don't want to show my face. I don't want to go to the dojo. I'm always getting second. Like, it has to be a me problem. Right. So like, no matter what I did, no matter what kata, because I never do the same kata. I always change it. I was just never good enough. So like, that's what brings me back to the question about what pushes me. Winning shouldn't push you. Right. Success shouldn't push you. Just enjoy the moment. Because win or not win, because you win for 24 hours, next day, the win doesn't matter. That's it. Unless something really big like the Olympics, that's forever. But exactly. Like, I'm just like, okay, like, now I learned to like care, but like not care anymore as much to the point where it breaks me and I'm like crying. Because we've grown up so much that we are doing our karate for us. And not for anybody else. And now we're telling our younger teammates who who are upset when they lose, who want to quit, who want to give up, because it happens. They always come to us, and I always like talking to the girls because we're different than the guys. The guys have that mental state where they're like, whatever, haha. But us females, we have feelings. We show our feelings more than the guys.
Yeah.
The guys may do it at home. We do it in person or whatever. It doesn't matter. But no, I tell them, I was like, you're always going to be judged.
Yeah.
Even in life.
Yeah. And
you're never going to have your way.
Right.
You can't get mad that the person who is judging you is doing their job.
Yeah.
And it's their opinion on who wins.
That's their opinion.
It's their opinion.
Yeah.
It wasn't me today. Fine.
Yeah.
I may disagree, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I put money into this. I put money for your opinion. It didn't turn the way I wanted to. Okay, let me just get some ramen. So I would tell the kids that. So yeah, what pushes me is not about the medals, not about the wins, not about the grands, overalls, because it's about leaving your mark. It's about leaving a feeling in it.
Yeah.
Because when we all die, I'd rather have people remember me as how I made them feel instead of about what I won.
Yeah.
You could be a jerk and win 100 times.
That one hit hard.
Yeah, it could be
how you felt about someone versus what they've done.
That's why I'm so glad I have empathy when it came back to bullying. I'm so glad I had that, because I would never treat anyone like crap.
How would you? Yeah, exactly. How would you make someone feel?
Yeah, I got treated really badly recently, and you know this.
Yeah.
And even when that happened, I didn't treat them the same.
Nope.
I let it go.
Yep.
Because no matter what happens, they're gonna remember me that I never did them dirty.
Yeah.
Or the only thing I ever did was give them love, and that's for everyone.
Exactly.
So it's
you lead with kindness.
It's how I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered for love and being friendly. Not about the wins.
Lead with kindness and lead with positivity.
Exactly.
And here we are, showing the next generation of martial artists that that's what they can do and where it can drive you.
Yeah.
Because when you start going with the flow and
you get lost.
Leading with it and leading with kindness and positivity, it can really push you and pull you in the right direction. And we want to show that, again, it's not about what you win. It's about how you felt when you did it and what you're leaving behind and how you feel after you've stepped off that mat.
Exactly. You only live once, and might as well do it with a bang.
Poetry.
And that's a wrap, country.
Ah.